All right, so we'll kind of a couple quick categories to hit, and then we beat each other up verbally. So favorite boss, I can say very succinctly here that this was like one of those like super easy choices for me. Monster Hunter World had some incredible fights in it, like the Hound fight down in Hell. Every fight in that game could be a great boss. It is a great boss fight. And the opening fight against Baldur in God of War, I thought was really cool. That was like when I was still really loving that game. But for me, it was definitely the Megalodon from Sea of Thieves. That event that brought everyone together in that game when it first came down. We experienced it at different times, but eventually with each other. But like I remember the first night just doing all those quests and rolling in with those groups. I got that video up on our Instagram page, by the way, when it first happened, and seeing that Megalodon just cut through that ocean, and we're way off in the corner of the map, and we're beating our war drums, and up until a point that game was all about fucking people over, and at this point everyone was working together, and it was a giant fucking shark, which is fucking epic. So that was a pretty easy choice for me.
Yeah, you are 100% right. That is the best boss this year.
Oh,
by
we
far.
agree! Oh
by
my God,
far.
it's a miracle.
The original Megalodon fight in Sea of Thieves is amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah, absolutely. By a mile this year. I was kind of, in general, I felt a lot of the bosses were weak this year. But that is just such a memorable fight. And it's not really something you can recapture if you're coming into it now, because it was just its own event whenever it first happened. But yeah. Absolutely, that was just one of the best experiences I've had with a boss all year, by a lot.
Yeah, I mean they flipped the idea of that game on its heels, and it was epic. Like you said, it was a whole quest line. There was just, and I remember joking with you guys. This is a true story. When we were first playing Sea of Thieves, I was like, man, if this game just had a giant shark battle in it, it would be perfect. And then when they were showing the teasers for Hungering in the Deep, I was like, that looks like they're teasing a shark. And it was just, I agree with everything you said. I was actually looking for a punctuating tweet that I sent out whenever it dropped that I thought summed it up. Oh, here it is. The Hungering Deep has turned a sea of assholes into a sea of friendly shark hunting companions. Such a brilliant way to twist the game around on its fan base. So anyways, so you agree. So that's also your best boss.
It is.
Right?
That is my favorite boss from this year, is that original Megalodon fight.
And at least the people, even if they can't experience the event, you can at least kill a Megalodon now in the game. It's a little different in context, but still cool. Still really fucking cool.
Yeah, now they just kind of sneak up on you instead of being this...
Yeah.
Having to track them down.
And play your war drums. And if you want to see in the video, it's our biggest video we've ever posted, you can hear a 10-year-old in the stream go, oh my God! Oh my God! Anyways, Shay, what was your favorite boss battle of the year?
My favorite boss battle of the year was Phalanx from Shadow of the Colossus. And if you do not remember that Colossi, that particular Colossus, it is the one in the desert that flies.
Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
Oh yeah, that is a very cool one.
That was the most memorable boss fight for me in that game. And I know that it originally released at a very earlier date, Josh, but this year was the first time I ever played that game. And I know it's a travesty, it's a cardinal sin that I had never played that game. So I decided, I think it's time this year that I rectify that mistake with it being remastered. And it was a fun game, and that boss fight in particular just stuck with me. You're riding your horse, you're trying to jump onto this creature, and it was the exact level of epic I wanted. Like, you have this sprawling desert landscape, and you're trying to mount this creature to destroy it. Much like all the other Colossi in the game, but that one was, for some reason, it just stuck with me the most. It was the most fun I had, killing all the Colossi. So, Phalanx from Shadow of the Colossus.
Way back in the day when we did our favorite boss battles of all time show, I think that was the Colossus that we settled on for the game. It was either that one or the first one, just because of the effect.
Yeah,
of the
I
first
can't
one.
remember. It had to have been one of the two.
Yeah,
because the first one is just such.
I vaguely remember that.
Such a amazing surprise, because you don't really even know what's going on in the game, and just the way it just lets you know everything that's going on in one fight is really cool from the first one. But yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, they're all amazing in their own ways. But
they are. I actually want to play the game again in English, so I get a little bit more of the narrative. But I played it in Japanese, and everyone is speaking, and I'm catching words. I'm catching like certain words in Japanese, but the rest of it, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you guys are saying, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a fairly cryptic story anyway. So
it is, but
yeah, you just pick up pieces of it, even if you're speaking the language. So yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah, that is a classic. Fish, curious to see what you may have settled on for your favorite boss battle of the year.
Well, the two boss battles that were talked about are definitely favorites of mine as well. But I have to say the Megalodon fight as well, just because like in online games like that, you don't necessarily get to experience something like that. Like Josh said, I think it was the previous week where it felt like a World of Warcraft giant boss spawning and the whole server joining in to get in on that action. It definitely reminded me of those days of World of Warcraft whenever I played that game. But in a much more intimate way, because of course it's not hundreds of players all piling into a zone, lagging out the server, getting very choppy frames per second and everything. But yeah, that Megalodon fight was the setup to it, where you're like solving all these riddles, and eventually you're gonna get to something big at the very end, and then you find out that like you have to work with other players as well on the server and not kill them, when the whole time before that event you wanted to kill every single ship that you come across, pretty much, unless you're just a friendly pirate.
And there's like everybody was on the beach like dancing together and like playing music. You're like, what is happening? This is weird.
Yeah, it was such a change of pace, all from like a single event that led to a big boss fight. And it was just so cool to see, like 3 galleons just setting out for one purpose, to kill this big ass fucking monster out at the sea that you don't exactly know what's gonna spawn out there, but once you see it, it's just like this big fucking frenzy of trying to kill it, and seeing these ships all circling around or anchoring themselves or positioning themselves better advantage to kind of get better shots on the Megalodon was just it was something very epic to see. And
well, it was wild when I did it with you and Josh Fish. It was like 3 galleons, I think. And it gave it like a different feel, because when I did it with our good friend Akuna Matata, I believe we were all in like swoops. so they just had a different feel to it. Like in the galleons, I almost felt like I was safer in a way, because it was like we were higher off the water. And then like in the swoops, I felt like that thing was just knocking us around like little child's boats while they're taking a bubble bath, So it was very different, but both very cool. Although the funny thing happened when I played it with you and Josh, when Josh killed it, the way it died, it fell into our boat, and I was down in there like patching a hole or something. And it shot me out. It like froze, and then it shot me out of the boat like 100
like during the death animation, its collision box like fell through our ship.
It was funny.
I forgot about that. That was great.
If that had been my if that had been my only experience with it, it probably would have been a bummer, actually. But
I think it like shot you out of the ship, and then Fish got stuck in the bottom of the ship for a while there. I'd forgotten about that.
On that thing.
Yeah, it was weird. But now, anyways, We can kill those megalodons all day. I wonder if they're smaller. No, they got to be the same size, I'm guessing. I don't know. They need more weekly events like that. So
yeah, that, and like Fish was saying, the lead up to it was good too. Playing Dude, Where's My Pig Leg with that drunk guy, drunk sailor.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit of a fetch quest, but it was like foreplay. Yeah,
it was good.
More foreplay for me, and does involve a peg leg. All right, so I'll try to do the Pac-Man sound. And I did a very terrible job. Favorite moment of the year. Now, I will say, I don't mean to kick these all off, but I'm just trying to keep the flow going. And normally I've already spun around you guys. But my favorite of the moment of the year, this is not one I'll be able to fight for later because it's too personal, but I have to be honest with you guys. It's when I went viral with No Man's Sky. Now, I know I'm not trying to suck my own here, okay? I'm not. But
yes,
when I was thinking back on the year, it was just such a cool thing. Well, so I'd always had this dream I was going to make a sea lab in No Man's Sky, and I was going to find a good area with some weird underwater sharks or whatever in that game. I was going to make a sea lab, and it would be fun. And in the process of building it, I just took this like 12-second clip of what I was doing. The sea lab was nowhere near done. It was just like the basic idea of what I was doing, and it was me swimming in the water with like an alien shark and then kind of jumping out of the water to reveal I'm actually inside my base. Like you could see the water in my base a la Deep Blue Sea, Samuel L. Jackson kind of a thing. And I just threw it up on Reddit for fun, and it exploded. It was one of the weirdest things ever. Like my phone that entire day at work was just buzzing the whole day. Just every 2 seconds, it was like comments all over the place. It was like such an electric feeling, mostly because it was like something that I actually really cared about, instead of like pouring myself out for a meme or something like that. I'm not above that, but I'm just saying. It was like something that I like kind of weird that I cared about, and it blew up, and a lot of people were like, this is a really cool idea. And then lo and behold, maybe someone at Hello Games saw it, because a couple months later they launched the underwater update called The Abyss. Wonder where they got all those great ideas from, Sean Murray. Perhaps there were some viral Reddit videos.
Yeah, he stole it from you, Morgan. You should call him up and get your royalties now.
No,
that royalty check.
He can steal anything he wants from me. Ideas, my virginity, anything he wants.
As long as you get to suck your own dick, huh?
Hey! There's kids listening. But it was a magical moment because it was a game I love, and it was like something that may never happen to me again as far as like stupid, my 10 seconds of internet. No one knows who I am. Just not like I wasn't in there at all. It wasn't a vain thing, and I think to this day that thing has like 40,000 views or something like that. So it's pretty crazy. Anyways, that was my personal favorite moment of the year. Obviously, that will not be what I throw into the ring later on. Shay, what was your favorite moment of the year? Non-multiplayer related, because we're saving that for the next category.
Right. I thought this was supposed to be a gaming moment, not an actual in-game moment. So I took it as that. So my favorite moment of the year is climbing the top of the mountain in Celeste. When you finally reach the top, and you've done it with your evil twin incarnate thing, you finally reach the top, and it just like all that emotional and mental baggage that Madeline carries throughout the whole game just feels to just disappear. Just for a moment. It's there. It's always going to be there, because with any kind of mental disorder or mental disease, it's always there, and it never just magically disappears. But just for the moment, when she climbs and crests the top of that mountain, everything just ceases to not be worrisome, and she just sits there and revels in what she did. She managed to conquer, even for a brief moment, that mental illness. And she gets just that one brief true moment of clarity, of total peace, and she can come down the mountain knowing that she did it. She finally did what she set out to do. She finally was able to conquer everything that's been affecting her, and she knows now that she can do it once, she can do it again. And to me, that is the most important message I think gaming can send out to the world right now, because gaming is largely being persecuted as mainly violent video games as a reason for why these, to be honest with you, these white terrorists are shooting people in America. And I don't think it has so much to do with violent video games as it has more to do with not just America, a lot of places in the world, Japan included, are not treating the root of the problem, which are these mental illnesses and disorders. And if a game, even an indie game like Celeste, can encourage one person or 5 people or 100 people or 1,000 to learn more about mental illness, to have a deeper understanding, and to have a little bit more empathy towards someone who has a mental disorder, that's a win in my book. So this has to be the moment of the year for gaming.
For you.
It's oddly enough,
the last part.
It's funny on my.
I'm just messing with you.
On my list, I have complain circled as my first answer because, of course, if all you can really remember is a moment, it's because you're, not sentient enough to take in context of everything else around. But then, actually, my answer after that was the end of Celeste because the point is the rest of the context. Like, it on its own is, I got to the top of the mountain, but in context, like, the whole reason she's there is because just in all of life, she feels like kind of a flake. Like, she's been struggling with all this stuff. She doesn't like herself. And throughout the game, she kind of comes not to accept herself, I guess, so much as I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but how to live with herself.
It's like
and how
it's like reconciling the difficult parts of herself and the peaceful, happy parts of herself. She has to reconcile those two and make it who she is, and just accept that that's who she is.
Yeah, but the end of that game, especially, just there's so much weight to it, just because of everything else leading up to that point, which is, I've talked about this before. Game endings generally suck. Generally, all the effort is put into the first little bit of the game where, people will actually see it. And by the time you get to the end, you get this washed up mess of an ending usually. That just isn't satisfying in any way. And Celeste in particular is it really kind of delivers on all the themes that they open up throughout the game. You finally get closure to them at the end, and it's really cool.
And it's not like a super happy everything's going to be okay ending too. I mean, it is a bittersweet ending because deep down inside she still has that mental illness, but for the moment she's reconciled everything, and for the moment she's learned so much about herself, and she's accepted so much that if she hadn't done this journey, she never would have discovered. So it's not a
you get to the
feel-good
end
ending.
And she's able to overcome something and finally accomplish something with what she thought. Like, she came here trying to conquer all her weaknesses and everything, and at the end of the game, she learns how to accomplish stuff with them instead.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because, like, as someone who's dealt with mental illness and it's caused a lot of issue in my life, the ending was, like, not that impactful to me as other parts in the game, like the panic attack scene or like the scene where she levels up was kind of like a weird twist on, like, the idea of leveling up when that happened. There was a lot of stuff that affected me a lot. Like, the ending to me, I actually thought was a little generic. Like, she goes into that cottage and everyone's, like, eating pie and they're all happy. And I'm like, okay, this is
like,
that.
That's just like the post-credit thing. Like, the ending is basically...
It's part of it.
The ending is basically that leveling up portion through the top of the mountain.
That's too cheap. That's like 2 hours of... That's too much.
No, it's not. It's about 30 minutes if you're bad.
No.
Because
no,
the
mountain
you get
itself
through the
is 30 minutes.
entire
It has 30
mountain
flags.
over basically every single level, and then the last little bit, like the last half of a level, is basically starting from below where you started and getting all the way to the top. Because of that whole leveling up thing and kind of actually discovering something instead of, coming there with ideas already.
That's my fault. We can argue about it later. We can't do that right now. All I was trying to say was that there was other moments that impacted me more, which is interesting that was the one that you guys settled on. But that's fine.
That's fair. It's fair. It's less about the ending and more about the actual. She reaches the very top of the mountain. Less about the ending, more about that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can talk more about that later, but that's a fair point. Fish, you've been quietly sitting here patiently vaping. What was your favorite moment of the year?
Mine's is more personal, and it's just more of an achievement. But my favorite moment of this year was actually beating Shadow of the Colossus in one day, and then returning that game back to the red box.
Fish.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, it's a classic game. I went back to it, and I knew all those bosses, mechanics, and everything, and I never felt so good about myself, powering through a game like that.
Yep.
So.
The same day? What, did you get it for free? Do they refund you if it's the same day?
No.
No.
I
Remember when
wish.
Sword used to do that? If you return the game in the same day, you get your money back.
Or if you could show them a save file where you beat it in one day, and they reward you by giving you candy.
So your favorite moment of this year was finishing a game in one day that came out in 2005.
Yeah. Weirdly enough. I don't know if it's nostalgia of that game or the fact that I usually don't beat video games at all or any of that. So
that's true. Finishing a game in one day is the complete opposite of never finishing a game ever. So that has to have a resonance on your soul.
It does.
Favorite multiplayer moment, as we are reaching the end here. We only have 3 quick little categories. Favorite multiplayer memory was one that Shay suggested. So I assume that maybe there was a moment that inspired it.
There was. I was laughing at the fact that you said that with a Sean Connery voice. Shay suggested. Shay suggested. No, this is actually my. It was gonna be my tie. Because we had a lot of really, really good multiplayer moments this year. I think it was our best year for gaming together, bar none. So it was really hard. I actually had to use my tie elsewhere. But my favorite multiplayer moment was all of us winning Fortnite on our first play together. Like, we stepped into Fortnite.
That was funny.
We didn't really know what the hell was going on. It's a lot of Josh and me yelling at Morgan, and Morgan just, just kind of being the whipping boy, and Fish is kind of just trotting along in the background with us, and then
chopping down all the trees.
That's right. And before we know it, we're in this gunfight near the end as the circle has gotten closed, and before we know it, like, I'm going down, and then Morgan's, going down, and then Josh is going down, and then all of a sudden, we win. And we're like, what the fuck? We just won our first time ever. And it was just like this. It was like reaching the ultimate victory right away.
By accident.
Kind of like what...
It's going to trip and stumble across the finish line that you didn't even know was there.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And it was such a cool moment for us. I feel like that, we didn't play the game much together after that, but even though we were yelling at Morgan a lot more than we probably should have, it showed, like, we had a level of camaraderie there. We were all working together really hard, trying to, do something. And it just felt good for us to, sit on top even for a brief moment on a game like Fortnite. It just felt good. For a brief moment, Swordchomp was on top of the world, and it was great.
I like to be on top. That was a good one. That was my runner-up. It was cool to see all of our personalities come together, which is basically me just staying alive and healing people and making terrible jokes. Fish building stuff, and then Shay and Josh actually doing all the work. So all the actual killing. Just can never get a good grasp for the controls and I could just never felt right for me. But that was cool. It was our first try ever playing together as a group, and we won. What about you, Fish?
Feels good, man.
It does feel good. What was your favorite multiplayer moment of the year?
Playing Sea of Thieves with you guys. I guess the first time playing with Josh and Morgan. Because you guys had already been playing it for a while, and I think it was my first day I was playing with you guys. And we were on a galleon, and we came across a ship, and I saw Josh jump off, and I saw Morgan jump off to attack the pirate ship as we were closing in, and I was like, hey, that looks like fun. Maybe I should board him too. And I jumped off our ship, not realizing the grave mistake that I made of not anchoring it or staying on the fucking ship. Because as soon as I jumped off it, I get yelled at by Josh telling me, oh, what the fuck did you just do, Fish? Oh, god damn it. Like, the utter dread of Josh's voice when he realized nobody was on the ship and it had full sails and it was just sailing past us.
Just booking. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a ship go that fast in Sea of Thieves. Because that thing was moving.
Full wind. Yeah. And he had left it. Yeah. He was left it hard starboard, so it actually started to do a full circle around us instead of just sailing off into the distance, which was amazing because while we were all fighting on this little ship or swimming in the water, the ship that Fish abandoned was going in a circle around us, ended up careening on the island nearby. And I got the whole video for Instagram, so maybe I'll find it again for the Christmas holidays. But yeah, that was one of those emergent moments that you couldn't write that. You couldn't write that even if you wanted to,
I love the disappointment in Josh's face or in Josh's voice the whole time. He was just like, "Well, Fish, you better start swimming for it." I was just like, "Oh, can I actually catch up to this to the ship?" It was great.
I feel like if all four of us had gotten to play that game together, it would have been easily on top of all four of our multiplayer moments of the year, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, that was mine though. I didn't want to steal it. I mean, Shay's moment is like a better example of us all together, but I haven't laughed as hard probably my entire life as whenever that happened to Fish.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And it sucked. It was just like I have video of me laughing like a psychopath for like 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, that really was. That was top of my list as well. Just I don't know. Yeah. Just watching Fish, like, really, he hadn't even played long enough. Like, that was, like, his first or second time out on the ship. Where, like, we finally let him steer the thing. Like, his first time steering it at all. He's like, yay, I get the wheel. And so we think, oh, he's in charge. We'll just leave him with the ship. And so we both jump off, and so does Fish. It was good. That was good.
Very, very rookie pirate mistake, but a very enjoyable mistake, I think.
Unfortunately, those are the moments that we had that I don't think a lot of people have, which is why that game is received so differently. Like, that one moment made my entire experience for me, but someone might never have that happen to them, so it's too bad. It really is. But, God, that was great. I should find those clips again so we can just watch them again and enjoy them. So, good times. All right. We are closing into the sort of gathering portion of the show. We have best gameplay mechanic, which for me, honestly, I don't mean to stay on that same note. You guys know I love the Deadeye system in Red Dead 2 a lot. I mean, it pretty much saves that game from being a generic cover shooter. But it is still a version of the system that was in Red Dead 1. So even though there's not a lot of games that do it, it's not necessarily new. So I was trying to focus on something that was like new to this year. And I think what I settled on was the Sea of Thieves. But the idea for me was, not trying to have a cheap answer, but the gameplay mechanics in that game revolve in like anything I've ever played before, where one person has to like work the sails, one person's driving, one person's dropping the anchor. Like the way you work in tandem when you first start playing that game. So let's say gameplay mechanics as a team, are just so unique and stand above pretty much everything I can think of this year. There were a lot in like Into the Breach had this great, the great moment where you hit a bug onto when another bug's coming out of the ground and they both kill each other, stuff like that. But
yeah,
the uniqueness of working as a team to pirate, those are gameplay mechanics, on that ship, I think are really, really what did it for me because they were so unique.
Yeah, those are good. I mentioned at one point this year, I can't remember how long ago it's been now, about Overcooked 2, basically refining their whole forcing you to cooperate mechanics down. And you definitely get a lot of this here, but it's not like just shoved in your face, ridiculously over the top, you will cooperate type stuff. But Sea of Thieves, it does that more gently and definitely makes it feel like you all have a job on that ship. You're not just kind of, oh, well, I guess I'm just here waiting around for, well, these other two people sail the ship or this one person drives us to where we're going.
That's me. I'm taking videos for Instagram.
Yeah, but like it does. It feels like there's something that you could be doing to help out all the time, which is really cool.
Yes.
And
even if you're just bailing water, even if you're just down there bailing water, it's vital.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It is really good. And it's not even so much a single mechanic. It's just like the way the whole, I guess the ship mechanics in general are like really cool that way.
That's what I would say. Well, you're already talking, Josh. What was your answer?
This is one of the hard ones because I also was trying to find something new this year. And Sea of Thieves was definitely really cool the way they encourage multiplayer with, just how the sailing works in that game. Yeah, this one was hard. I went back and forth between a bunch of them. Minute was cool because the whole conceit of that game is that your character only lives a minute, and you somehow have to get through like this top-down RPG in a minute. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, like that was cool. The Missing, which is that sweary game I was talking about before. The way the mechanics in that tie into the narrative, and that one was really affecting as well. But I didn't want to do that one because then I'd have to kind of explain what it was, and it's a fairly big spoiler. So I took it out of the running just for myself because I don't want to ruin that for anyone. But it's definitely worth. Just that game is absolutely worth playing, and not enough people are talking about it. So if you are at all interested in the trailer of that game after kind of seeing what it was, or if you at all enjoyed Deadly Premonition, definitely go check out that game. But what I finally landed on was the detective mechanics in Return of the Obra Dinn, which I think finally gives a detective game feeling that doesn't feel like you're just kind of railroaded into the right answers at some point. Like it actually feels like you're discovering something in this game. It feels like you're actually doing the work of a detective instead of, well, I picked the right dialogue option or something like that. Like in a lot of games. And yeah, just from start to finish, the way that game makes you think is really cool. It's really cool, and it's something that I think a lot of games need to look at. It's good. It is good. It's probably my favorite detective game at this point, just from the way they handled all that.
Wow. Okay.
It's good.
Yeah. It's very unique. The way you're jumping in and out of these memories, and the way you're looking It's kind of hard to narrow that down to one. Like,
Yeah.
how would you narrow that down to one mechanic? Like, if you had to briefly, because there's a lot of elements to it, right?
I
Is
mean,
there
a
one
lot of
part
it, but
that you like.
I don't know. Like, everything is so interconnected in that game. Like that, a single mechanic from that game is kind of the game. But I mean, if anything, just the whole conceit of the game that you can jump back in time and see the exact moment someone died is really cool, and all the puzzles are built around that in really neat ways. Like, you know, a lot of the story in that game is kind of there's a lot of action going on because people have to die a lot close to each other, and so they kind of need a story that facilitates that. So you couldn't really do this exact sort of thing with, you know, just any story, but the way they're going about it and are able to use those mechanics to tell the story they do is really cool. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a unique one for sure. Hopefully, more people will play Oberdin. Fish, what do you got for favorite gameplay mechanic? That's a good one.
It's a really good one, actually. Just wait. Let me muster up the courage to say this, but
how drunk is Fish right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
No. I can hear it.
I'm just really tired and I got a headache, actually. No,
Debbie Downer.
It's a really good mechanic in this game, but it's so simplistic and stupid, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. In Sea of Thieves, you can shoot yourself out of those cannons.
Yeah.
On your ship. Like I never would have thought about that until like you realize that once you get to the edge or to the barrel of that, or once you get up to it and you realize that you could load your own self in there as an option, it's just like, can I really do this? And then you fire your own self and you're just like, okay, I can fucking do this in this game. And they actually came out with like a not expansion, but a patch where it involved you loading yourself into the cannon to get to these way up high, distant places on the islands to get to these thrones. And I remember me and Josh were doing that. And like it really took that mechanic to a whole nother level. And it was interesting to see that they built a whole patch just around that one mechanic. Of course, that mechanic was always in the game from the beginning, but I really enjoyed that mechanic of that game. It's just the simple fact that you can load your own pirate into the cannon and shoot yourself onto the island.
That is funny. That is one of the most fun things about that game, is just being able to launch yourself. And it is. It's simple, but that really showcases
fun,
just a lot of the joy in that game.
Is
just being able to shoot yourself out of a cannon. Like it's fun, it's ridiculous. That mechanic really does kind of encapsulate that game.
Especially if you shoot yourself out of a cannon onto somebody else's ship. That's just it's not easy to do, but that is memories are made of. Shay, what about you? What's your favorite gameplay mechanic of 2018?
I use my tie here.
Okay.
So the first one is one that Josh actually already mentioned, which is the minute system in the game Minute. I needed to figure out a way to give this game some love this year, and I think this is the best way to give it some love. The mechanic is interesting. It's frustrating at times because basically, as Josh said, you have a minute to solve a certain part of a puzzle in the world before you are killed by the minute system. So basically, you have different little points that you warp to. Like when you reach them, that's where your checkpoint is at. And basically, you have to figure out the next puzzle in this area of the world in order to progress. And you keep doing that. And eventually you get to the end. But it's a very simplistic gameplay. And it takes only a few hours to play and beat the game. But it's just so much fun. This constant and anxiety of wanting to finish a certain puzzle on time. So you have to learn how to kind of deal with that constraint, and you have to figure out how to solve puzzles quickly. So it's a fun little system, not something I'd ever quite experienced before. The other one, and I'm surprised none of you guys have mentioned this, is one character warping back Into the Breach. I think that mechanic was a really brilliant way to make the game feel that much better. I don't have a better way of putting that. Like, it just feels.
I mean, that's the game is named after that mechanic,
right?
Technically,
right. It's a lot more enjoyable of a game. If that mechanic wasn't there, it would not be near as fun of a game, in my opinion. Because how this mechanic works is, if you're going through with your 3 mechs, there's a character usually in each mech. Unless that mech dies, then you lose that character. However, if you end up losing a game entirely, all 3 of your mechs are destroyed, or you don't complete the objective, or all your power, your energy runs out, you have the option to send one character back. And what that does is you get to keep all your power-ups, all the experience that you have for that character as you go into your next run-through. And it makes the game seem that much less harder, even though it's a difficult game no matter what. It's much less harder. You can build some type of affinity for a character, so you don't have to, say, I really like this character, I don't want them to die. Oh shit, they died. Now I can't give a shit about this character. You can pick a favorite character, and some of them have better abilities than others. So it allows you to strategize better. It allows you to build a little bit of an affinity for a character, and it makes the game a little bit more compromising than it would normally be if you didn't have this mechanic in. So to me, those are like the Sea of Thieves ones are really good ones as well. I think exactly what you guys were talking about with the ship, where everyone has a different objective and a different goal when you're on the ship, is perfect. I mean, that is my runner up to this category, because there's nothing like that. It felt like everyone had a very defined role when you were on a ship of 3 or 4 people and you have to get somewhere. Everyone has a role. But I think these two also stuck out to me because, like I said, there's nothing like Minute. There's absolutely nothing like Minute. And like Morgan said, the name of the game is after this other mechanic. So those are my 2.
All right. So what I'm thinking we could do here, as we have our last categories, we can just segue immediately into, because we have about 25 minutes here to go. I know Fish is a headache, but this is the fun part. One thing we could do is we segue into our last category and we go through it very quickly, and then we start hashing. Now, when we're doing the hashing process, I'm going to try and be as level-headed and as objective as possible. There are situations, unfortunately, where I feel like games are going to be getting short-thrifted, but at the end of the day, the goal is to find the best representation of us all. Even if we think one of us is very, very wrong, they are still part of the team. So we will try to be as level-headed in that regard and come to some fair Chompcast awards. You're the ones that are going to go up on the Instagram. They're going to be symbolic of what we're doing. So, but let's go to the last one really quickly and then settle on its practice. My best feel was Into the Breach. And the reason why I went with that was, I know it sounds strange, but there was this, it's a strategy game. So it wasn't my traditional sort of feel kind of thing. But just the moments whenever you would set your people in place and what you knew was going to happen would follow through. Like, oh, I'm going to knock this bug onto that crack, and then whenever I sit here and this turns over, another bug's going to shoot back out. In some ways, it was almost the feeling of like setting a bunch of things into place and then just watching them go. And Into the Breach, I know it sounds weird because a lot of times for me, like Horizon would have been a winner for me. Like Destiny and stuff like that. Usually it's a game that just feels good to play. My runner-up was probably Spider-Man swinging around because the swinging in Spider-Man just felt really good. But for me on a personal level, it was the feel of Into the Breach, having everything connect together and watching it unfold. I thought I settled on. What about you, Josh?
This is another tough one. There were a bunch of really unique feeling games, like all really polished, good. Just it makes you feel connected to them whenever you're playing. God of War was great this way. The axe is just super satisfying just to wield that thing. Spider-Man also, a lot of the combat in that game just makes you once you know what you're doing, it makes you like I briefly mentioned this before whenever we were first talking about Spider-Man, about how in Batman you're kind of forced to feel like Batman. Like a lot of the combat is really just kind of, there's no way you can mess it up. You're just gonna look like a badass no matter what you're doing. In Spider-Man, you can seriously fuck up and just die basically instantly. But whenever you do get it right, it just feels awesome. It lets you feel like Spider-Man a lot more. This was a tough one. Celeste and The Messenger are both really, really tight platformers, kind of in different genres. This was one of my toughest ones. I think I have to use my tie here. Is
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of conviction over like some of the other ones.
Yeah, like really, I think it could be any of these. Like, there's like the top 5 that I think all could. Like, there's absolutely arguments for all of them because there are so many good feeling games this year. But I think my favorite 2, as far as just the feel of the game, were Celeste and Crosscode. Just because Celeste is another similar thing. It's got those sort of Meat Boy vibes to seeing a room, trying to figure out how you're going to get where you want to go, and just mastering the mechanics until you're able to do that in a really cool way. And that it feels good. It feels really solid once you're actually able to pull off what you see in your head. And so I loved my time with that game. And then Crosscode is probably the best top-down RPG I've played possibly ever. As far as an action RPG goes, it is such a really unbelievably tight combat system in that game. It's so satisfying to play in that game. It's amazing.
I will 100% agree with that. It's not my choice, but I 100% agree that Crosscode has a super good feel in that game. Like the combat is very, very fluid and it feels natural.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's got a really cool flow to it because each enemy has different weaknesses and different attack types. And just figuring out how to find an opening and take somebody down is really satisfying. Even with like the normal easy enemies, like just kind of the trash you'll find wandering around the different worlds. It's like the trash. Riff-raff. Yeah, just the trash mobs that normally in a lot of other games would just be, oh, just go hit them a couple times. Even they feel unique. And it's good. It's good. Just amazing combat this year.
All right. The best feel tie there for Josh. Shay, what you got for best feel?
Keep it succinct. Sea of Thieves. We've talked about Sea of Thieves to death. I don't want to say too much more than what I've already said. Sailing on that game is incredible. I've never felt that naturally in the world this year other than this game. Like, I know it's a little bit recency bias there, but that game just feels incredibly natural when you're sailing, and there's nothing like it. So that's my choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a game where you feel like a fucking pirate on the seas. Like, they give you all these tools. They give you a compass, a telescope, and you actually have to use your compass in very unique ways in the riddles and getting your bearings on these islands, because the map gives you a general idea of where you're at in the world of Sea of Thieves, but you're not exactly sure exactly where you are on that island, so you kind of have to use your
it's like an actual map. Yeah, it's like
exactly. Yeah, it actually feels like a fucking treasure map that you're following, and like you have to use landmarks, you have to gauge where you're at on that island by that. Like it's like using GPS back in the olden days, and like it's very odd, but being a pirate in that game definitely felt.
Yeah. Is that your choice too?
Felt good.
I'm not trying to. Yeah. Oh, that is okay.
It's really easy to just kind of forget yourself in that game. It's like, oh, this is what I am doing. I am in this game whenever you're playing it, and
right. You feel incredibly detached from yourself, and it. Man, if they made this game into VR, just imagine like how immersive this game would honestly be if they could capture that, like the same feel in VR, because like it is incredibly immersive. That's the thing. I think out of everything, all the hate for Sea of Thieves, that's the thing I understand the least, is like there isn't a ton of content there per se, but how immersed you end up being in the game is just sublime.
Well, what I've noticed from people I've listened to in a lot of other podcasts is that a lot of them really enjoyed like their first day with it, but that was about as far as it got, because they were like, the loop in that game is driven by experiences, not by like upgrades and to your normal RPG stuff, and that can be a little bit empty for people, especially if you're not running into people like we were. But in service of the category, I could live with. I mean, I know it wasn't me and Josh's choice, but I know me and Fish didn't play Crosscode, and I know they didn't play Spider-Man. So, I mean, I could live with I think the combat in Sea of Thieves feels awful, but I think everything else feels incredible. So, I could live with that for best feel as a group, but what do you guys think?
100%.
Like I said before, I like there were so many good feeling games this year that I could feel. I'd be satisfied with basically any of them, because it's just there was a lot of amazing work done this year in that.
Red Dead, what?
It was a joke for Josh. Yeah, Fish,
that's the one thing that whether it wins anything else, it's not getting that. That's the one thing that it's not getting.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, it's definitely not getting
a Western game. I was playing GTA.
Had a great feel, just very unique, and one day people appreciate it. But I can live with Sea of Thieves, because it's more of like I said, it's a representation of our entire group. I don't have time to tell you guys you're wrong for the next hour. I just got to find where we can meet in the middle, and it sounds like we can meet on the same ship of Sea of Thieves. I'll take the video. Josh can steer. Fish, you can.
I'll beat my meat below deck.
Fish can
so see it.
Fill some holes below deck.
Ba-da-ba-da! Come on, Josh. Same joke all year. Come on. Disgusting.
I know.
Yeah.
So Sea of Thieves will win Best Feel for the 2018 Chompcast Dagger Tooth Awards. Congratulations. You won something. Now, if we start back in the beginning, I think we can do this. I almost said economically, but I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. Now that Fish looks perky again. I noticed when we talked about, I'm going backwards here just for the sake of conversation. Gameplay mechanic was an interesting one that we were all over the place with. I did notice that two of us mentioned, Fish mentioned the cannon, and I did mention something from Sea of Thieves. Also, two of us mentioned Into the Breach. Josh's, your choices, there's no disrespect to your choices, but they weren't really mentioned by anyone else. So if we're looking for a consensus here, Josh, would you find yourself more agreeing with a Sea of Thieves for best gameplay mechanic or Into the Breach? Because you're going to have to be the tiebreaker here.
Who?
Because I can swing either way. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. That's hard. Like the Into the Breach one, I don't think taking a pilot back with you does anything. So like I'm not saying that one if we're doing that. Like as far as the mechanics goes, in that game, being able to see exactly what's going to happen and having essentially perfect information of a tactical game is way more important as far as the actual feel of the game, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the reset turn was also amazing too. Being able to like take back and
that's true too.
Yeah, like I feel like there were other things other than just taking a pilot back, which was kind of a, we'll give you a slightly easier chance this next time. You didn't quite make it, sort of a feeling. I don't think that was the most influential thing in that game. Is kind of my only thought there.
That's fair.
I will say this, Shay, on that note,
we could totally go just fucking crazy and just be like, let's pick the turn back a turn from Into the Breach. Something that none of us particularly mentioned, but that was a big one that we all appreciated.
Yeah. And I did like how it's super useful while you learn the game, but it's cool because it's almost a trap. Like if you get too used to it, like you stop thinking carefully about the game, and it adds this extra layer of just kind of strategy to the game.
Definitely.
Which is really
use
cool.
it too early and you're like, damn it, I needed that later on.
Yeah, like I should have. Yeah,
I've done that so many times on that game too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it really teaches you the game well, because a lot of times early on in the game, I'd waste that early on, then see something else. Oh, yeah, I screwed this up. And using that move and then not having it when you really need it makes you just learn the intricacies of the game in a way that I think basically any other tutorialization wouldn't accomplish. And I like that mechanic, I think, is just really cool to the experience of that game.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
Let's put it this way. If we phrase it like this, the teamwork gameplay mechanics of
how would we
Into the Sea, or the reset mechanic of Into the Breach, which way would you guys be leaning? The teamwork mechanics of Sea of Thieves or the reset mechanic of Into the Breach?
Reset mechanic.
I could see either of those. Like that's really close. Like the sailing and Sea of Thieves and that reset mechanic are both really cool.
True.
Both really cool. How do you? Since we changed this up on you, Fish, what do you think?
What's more unique, Fish? You can have this turn over again, or somebody grab a different part of a pirate ship. Which way are you leaning?
Neither. Can I say that? Anyways, I'm going to say that. And I'm going to say that all the pirates playing the same tune together as they're playing different instruments is by far one of the coolest group musical things you can do in that game. That,
It's completely off topic.
That's true.
Thank you.
That's true. There's nothing like that. Rock band never existed. Guitar Hero never existed.
Nope. I don't know what timeline you're from. You need to do a reset.
Touche.
You literally gave an example from Sea of Thieves as your choice, even though it was shooting out of the cannon.
Yeah.
So
I'm still vying for Sea of Thieves here. And as much as I appreciate like those different things of Into the Breach, I don't think they're as, at least for me, not as unique as what I've seen in Sea of Thieves.
So you're saying uniqueness would win out to you?
Si, senor.
Oh, I get it. Sea. It's in Sea of Thieves. I see what you did there.
Yeah. All right. So sailing and Sea of Thieves.
No.
You guys live with that? I think that's my vote too, I guess.
Fuck you. That's okay. I'm perfectly okay with that one.
No.
I wanted to give some love to Into the Breach because I have a feeling we're gonna give too much love to Sea of Thieves this year.
I think we can circle back around there because I'm like either of these I'm happy with, but I'm kind of with you on the whole not.
Can we save this?
Not
Come back
making
to
this
this one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but think about like if I don't think how we'd be any more productive. I mean,
no, I mean, we've already got down to 2. It's just if somehow Sea of Thieves wins every other combined category we have.
Oh, it won't. There's no way. It just seems that way because we went backwards, and that was the 2 that came up. But yeah, it is weird having 2 back-to-back Sea of Thieves things. You can stop listening to us now because we're crazy people, apparently. Fuck me. Yeah, you're right, because multiplayer memory's coming up. God damn it! And
let's come back to it.
And favorite boss. Well, I mean, that's the reality of our situation. I mean, I'm looking at this right now. 3 of us had the Megalodon fight for favorite boss. The multiplayer memory. 3 of us had Fish careening the ship. I mean, it's fucked up, but those are kind of the realities of our situation, though, right?
Well, I mean,
let's go. Let's
That's
save,
why we're
save,
so close on that one.
Yeah,
I think
let's save mechanic for now.
Around.
Come back. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's go back to ecosystem. Should be an easy one because it was one of the only ones where Josh gave Red Dead Redemption 2 some credit. So, even though I was kind of on the Monster Hunter World train, there wasn't enough support there. I think Fish to go with that. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine.
He sounds so depressed on that one. Sorry, Fish.
It's okay. I was trying to think of what category Monster Hunter World would win in, and
that's sad. You're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart. Yeah, that was its best shot, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad if Josh didn't have to be so adamant against Red Dead on everything. You know, we could spread it around a little. But
it wasn't even close on anything else. So
that's your opinion. So look at it this way. We can't. I mean, that's unfortunately. I mean, I'm with you. I think the ecosystem Monster Hunter is the kind of like its best thing it has going for it. But like I said, Shay just started playing it, so he just doesn't have the reference. And Josh only played it for a little bit, so I don't know if it'd be representative of our entire group necessarily.
Right. I just not happy with Red Dead Redemption.
Well, you'll be happy with it one day. You pull your head out of your ass.
Whoa! Fucking rude.
Unless you like it in there. It's fine too.
It's the most realistic
ass. It's a beautiful ass.
Yeah.
Love seeing those gerbils are in there, fucking decaying corpses.
Shay totally missed that.
That's in my ass, Josh. Gerbils.
Oh man, these are gonna get dicey. Let's see. So, favorite moment is interesting because we all had very unique things. So, fuck, this is tough. There was Shay and Josh were talking a lot about Celeste. Mine was No Man's Sky related, but obviously that wasn't one I was going to fight for because it was very personal. Fish, your favorite moment of the year? Do you remember it?
Beating Shadow of the Colossus.
Beating Shadow of the Colossus. So that's going to be a tough sell. So we're going to have to, me and you are both going to have to work here.
Okay. Let's work.
Let's work. Do you see anything in Celeste being best moment?
Yeah, so is best moment a game from 2005 or Reddit?
Right.
Reddit! No, I'm not going. That's not my honestly, like if I hadn't it's tough because there are different things about Celeste that I really enjoyed, but like it's fucked up because there's like half of one of the most influential games ever created that no one here has even experienced. And if they had, it would be the runaway winner. So I'm just kind of stuck here saying, pick something shittier. Go ahead. You know what I mean? So at some point it's like, I'm not going to fucking really fight for this. I mean, I already think it's kind of a sham, but it's not up to me. It's up to you guys. I'm the only person that's put 100 hours in the Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, and if you take your face away from that bush, you could see all of reality around you.
Which bush are you talking about? The burning bush?
It's just like it's tough. Like in the same way that we try to tell Fish about things that he hasn't experienced either. It's just it's frustrating. But I mean, I didn't think that Celeste was going to come up twice. It's just that a lot of Celeste there's some great moments, but I just feel like you guys are including too much of one thing in that moment. That'd be like,
well, that's because, I said before, a moment is fucking stupid anyway. A moment is what you focus on if you can't actually pay attention to what's happening around you.
It's the spirit of the award. It's not anybody being stupid.
I remember exactly where I was whenever 9/11 happened. If you actually do that, that's pathetic. Like, just seriously.
Well, the idea of the award is, like, why don't you just say the whole game? Celeste, the whole mountain climb. There you go. Best moment. I mean, it's just, at some point, you have to be realistic about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Fish, did you finish Celeste?
What are we arguing about here?
I think we're arguing about whether or not we have a best moment category.
Well, you're the only one who doesn't like the category, but I don't understand the issue. Well, I mean, a lot of these, like I said, are tough because usually it's like a narrative moment.
I don't know. I enjoyed turning off Red Dead every time I turned it off. It's my favorite moment of the
year. Hey, I'm with you on that, Josh. Every time I got gunned down so cheaply by the Driscolls.
I know how to play a video game.
The experience of closing that game and opening up Netflix is just sublime.
If anyone's listening to this, if anyone's listening to this and you think these people are crazy, I'm with you and I'm sorry. I deal with this every day. To all of our listeners,
get yourself checked into a hospital.
I'm really shocked right now that you two would say that, because like you guys are saying that you would shut it down to watch Netflix, and I'm surprised you guys shut the game down. I'm surprised you didn't just switch over automatically to Netflix. You took that extra second to shut it down.
Yeah. Suspend the game. Come on. It's 2018.
No. Yeah. Why would you do that? So your system sits there and chugs along even louder than usual. It's a fucking PS4. That thing sounds like it's about ready to take off whenever it's opening the menu. Like,
that's why you played on an Xbox One X and you don't have to deal with that. I bet if the fucked up thing is, I bet if Red Dead was on PC and you could play it in your PC room with all your PC graphics cards, I bet you'd love it. I bet
you're making a comment. You immediately know Josh is gonna...
Like, you do this every time. Like, it's an outdated
because
game
I've
with
known you my whole life,
story,
Josh.
And
I'm just saying, you'll buy Nintendo games without knowing it. It's
because
biased.
They're
and it's
well
fine.
made.
You just hate Rockstar. You just don't like Rockstar.
Because they make shitty games.
See, you go into it with the
no. I've tried to play through all of them, and you're gonna sit there and tell me that all my time with these games is not valid because I'm just not sucking that dick hard enough.
It's because you're saying it's bad. If you just said that it was an amazing achievement, but it just wasn't for you to be fun. But to say it's bad is just ignorant. It's
bad.
Not true.
It does a horrible job of storytelling. It forces you out of the open world experience it's trying to give you constantly. The missions are exactly the same as they've always been. Like,
combat is shit.
Like,
that's because you don't want to play Fish. And Josh,
the original GTA 3 had better mission structure than this game.
Okay, well, people who are listening to this, I don't have to say anything because people are going to understand. I can only imagine people are just going to be turning off the podcast left and right because you're saying crazy shit. It's really crazy. It's crazy.
No, it's not.
Well, you can be objective. It's not agreeing, Fish. You didn't play enough of the game to farm.
What? Come on now, Morgan. Remember when I told you need to put in about 30 hours into Monster Hunter World? And you were like, I gotta put 30 hours into that game. Fuck that game. Well, I had to put 15 hours into fucking Red Dead Redemption 2.
You didn't put 15 hours in the Red. My ass. 6 hours of the game and maybe 7 hours swiping on Tinder.
Ouch, that really hurt, Morgan.
God, this is why I hate this
part of the
show.
I'm gonna let that slide.
I bet people, at least this is entertaining for people. I hope if nothing less. Or nothing else.
I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna say this. Morgan, your arguments for them not liking Red Dead is a little bit ridiculous. However, you both are wrong. Red Dead is not a bad game. Red Dead is a good game. Is it a great game? I don't think so. I think it's a good game. I think it does a lot of things very well that are very impressive. And there are some other things that I think are dated. Absolutely. That being said, we can argue about this during the Game of the Year show.
Mm-hmm.
The second show that we're going to be recording later tonight. Or tomorrow morning for you guys. We can argue about that later.
Well, that's true. And Shay's right.
We haven't really gotten to a moment that you'd even suggest from this one yet anyway. So
because I can't ruin all the shit that happens.
There's nothing to ruin.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. There's nothing to ruin. No.
It's garbage.
There's nothing to ruin. It's crap. You're right.
All right. So, favorite moment. Let's move on. Favorite moment. Like, what's one that we can agree on? That, because this one's, I understand this one's a difficult one. I honestly think it would have to be, like I said, something like, I think it's the Celeste one for personal purposes. However, if you guys disagree with that,
we already had two people there, and Morgan's was essentially the beginning of that. If he didn't,
I was trying to ask. Well, not necessarily. I was trying to ask Fish how far he got in Celeste, so I could get context for where he was at.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I started climbing up the mountain after you level up. So
okay, so you're basically there.
So you didn't.
Basically, yeah.
You're right like 5 minutes from the end of the game, and you.
No, that's not true.
Well, I have no idea how many times you're going to die. So you're anywhere between 5 minutes and 4 hours.
200 times.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of what other games that we all kind of experienced this year that were not online multiplayer experiences that we all liked, because clearly Red Dead isn't going to be one of those choices. I mean, we could pick an Into the Breach moment if we really wanted to, if we wanted to give it some love. Like, we could say our favorite moment is when you defeat all the Vec or you hold the line on all the Vec at the end, like the final map, I guess. But I don't really feel confident about that one. I feel confident about the Celeste one.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much I want to fight.
Which is odd to me, because you played that game, and I mean this just to try and get to the bottom of it. I find that interesting because I remember you said you played it in January, and then you came back to it at the end of the year, and you were already at the end of the game. So like the entire game was like split up by like 12 months when you finished it. I mean, it just seems like you chopped the entire like emotion of that moment up.
Well, well, it's actually 10 months because it's February to November. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it is a little bit of one. I split it up because we had other games to play, and so I had to kind of prioritize. And that game kind of got pushed back, and I kept saying to Josh and you guys, I wanted to finish that game. I want to finish that game, but other games kept popping up. So when I finally got downtime is when I finally was able to finish it. And I don't think that should really be too much of a deciding factor there at all, because
I'm just saying I'm surprised that you were able to keep momentum with that emotion, because if Josh is saying it's that entire sequence, you kind of chopped that sequence up over a long time.
I don't think that's sound logic, because I mean, TV shows go a year and you still carry that emotion and that momentum along from year to year. I don't think that's a good
like Game of Thrones would have dropped off half its watchers every season, between every season. Like,
so you're comparing Game of Thrones to like a 4-hour.
No, I'm comparing it to the time difference between beats in a story. Because that's what you were just saying somehow can't work, and it obviously does in basically every serial TV show that's ever happened.
No, I'm not saying it can't work. I just said I thought it was interesting, knowing that surprised me that's what he went with for best moment. That's all.
That's fair. I still think it's the strongest moment, because I think it has the strongest message, narrative wise, for what like currently what's going on in the world. I think it has one of the strongest narratives, and I think that this is kind of like that moment is the culmination of that. So that's my, like, if I'm gonna pick one, that's my vote.
Yeah, I don't care. Fish can do the tiebreaker. I just don't have the energy to fight for things I don't care about.
I could agree with that. I definitely did like that aspect of Celeste. And there's kind of a pivotal moment in that game where you save your friend from like this giant crystal that he's put himself into essentially by his own mind to protect himself. But you're rewarded with a lot of dialogue. And previously, all the dialogue in that game was just like these quick interactions with other characters, but it was mostly your character dealing with her own problems and being inside of her own head a lot of the times. But once you're rewarded with that big dialogue, I felt it. There was moments in it where, like, I was understanding the main character a lot better, Madeline, and like all her mental issues and everything, and like it actually affected me in a way that made me kind of tear up just thinking about it. And like, even though it was kind of simplistic in their delivery where you're just going through different dialogue options and hearing them, it just touched me in a way, and kind of that game came all together at that point. And then something big happens after that without ruining it. But yeah, I could get behind that moment in Celeste, at least for me. So
okay,
I vote for Celeste.
Climbing the top of the mountain in Celeste will be the moment of the year. Let's see here. We have art direction. Another toughie.
Yeah.
Because so objectively, no. I think me and mine was. I think I settled on Sea of Thieves. Wasn't the strongest conviction in the world, but I think I settled on it just because of the ocean tech. I think Shay went with My Memory of Us, which unfortunately would probably be tougher to fight for considering Fish never played it. Josh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to refresh myself going back. Oh, that was that
was Oberdin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a bunch of really cool art designs, but yeah.
What would your backups been, Josh? Because Oberdin was only played by me and you.
Probably my next one would have been Gris, but that is like another one that no one else played. So it doesn't help at all here. I mean, Sea of Thieves would have been top 5-ish, and that was mentioned by two others.
It was, yeah.
One or two others.
Mine were my top 3 was the painting Red Dead stuff, and then Sea of Thieves, and then Monster Hunter heads. The monsters in Monster Hunter are kind of
Monster Hunter was cool
in that game.
Monster Hunter, that was a cool change to still have a really cool Monster Hunter feel, but to like finally just be pretty realistic about it. And I think I could get behind Monster Hunter, I guess.
That feels like a pity award right there. I could get behind it.
Yeah.
So I think, kind of feeling the room, I would throw my hat in for either Sea of Thieves or Monster Hunter. My logic simply being like the sea tech in Sea of Thieves is something that stands alone, and that art direction of that world is gorgeous. We already discussed the cartoony nature of the characters and stuff, but that world is a character unto itself. And then Monster Hunter, the monsters would, if the amount of detail, every little like tendril or weird bag of pus or claw, like that game would be nothing if you weren't in awe of how cool the monsters looked. So those would be the two I would throw my hat in for. What about you, Josh?
Well, first I have to say, hot damn them pus bags.
Pus bags. There were some pus in there.
Mm-hmm.
Shay got slapped. In the belly by a large iguana belly slapped him in the face last night. But so I think it sounds like reading the room, we're kind of down to those two.
I know Josh is supposed to go while he's thinking. I honestly, it's hard to say rather Monster Hunter than Sea of Thieves, because part of that is going to be bias, like recency bias. But Sea of Thieves is going to win a lot of other things, whereas Monster Hunter isn't. I know that's the pity part, but the unpity part is like that game is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
like that game, like the landscape is gorgeous. I love how the characters don't look too serious. I like how they look whimsical. It's a very Japanese art style, and I love it. It's something that I think we should give credit, because finally Monster Hunter has broken through in America. And I think lately with a lot of games in America, a lot of it is like a very set style. Like they're very set styles. And Monster Hunter, while it's not different from other games, for it being a mainstream game, it's very different from a lot of the other mainstream games that came out this year. I mean, I could go either way, but if I had a choice between one or the other, I would go Monster Hunter.
I feel about the same. I can see the value of both. Just personally, I enjoy looking at the sea. Just sailing.
Yeah,
is so beautiful. And in Sea of Thieves that I would lean slightly the other way, kind of like Shay is leaning slightly towards Monster Hunter. But both of them are I'm fine with. So
yeah. Realistically, I'm not going to be hurt if either one of them are voted in.
I kind of feel the same way as well. Like it's definitely a tie between them both, but me personally, looking back on this year, like the game that would stick out to me as far as like how unique the art style was and how much it's affected me as far as like in a gaming experience for me would definitely have to be Sea of Thieves. As much as like I love Monster Hunter's like art direction and all the animations that they put into those monsters to make them really come alive in that game, I enjoyed that quite a bit. But the core of what makes Monster Hunter a great game for me was that kind of addictive loop of progressing and upgrading your character, and the satisfying gameplay in that game. Is where that game really shined for me. So I'm leaning more towards Sea of Thieves over Monster Hunter.
What the fuck?
Art
That's what you get for trying to be nice to Fish, eh? You just heard.
I know.
Well, like
I'm just
that's
kidding.
Just
I'm
my
okay
honest
with
opinion
it.
as far as like art direction goes.
Well,
like,
let's just
I'm okay
the ocean
with it.
tech in Sea of Thieves is definitely an artistic achievement unto itself. So
yeah, I'm fine with either one of them. I'm just giving Fish shit.
Sounds like Sea of Thieves. I'm leaning towards Sea of Thieves. Fish is, Josh is.
Right,
I guess that's Sea of Thieves. Best art direction of 2018 in an upset. All right,
a big one at that,
or whatever an upset is, where instead of a meh set,
it's more like a down. It's more like a down set. If we're going to reference the grammar joke at the very beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It sounded like we had good consensus
in a late
on
offset.
favorite. Killing me. It sounded like we had consensus for favorite boss being the Megalodon moment from series that we discussed pretty.
I'm just kidding. It's okay. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I know. And Shay, to be fair, your boss was incredible. And it was the first time I experienced it. Granted, I'm being a remaster, it's tough to kind of
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I'll accept Megalodon.
How about this? 2005 Daggertooth Award. We'll give it to
I like that.
Shadow of the Colossus. We'll go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're going to go into the breach. We're going to go back in time.
Fuck yeah. Then we're going to send back our best pilot. Who's our best pilot here? Let's send back Josh.
It's clearly not me.
It's not me, but I want to take pictures of the event, so I will sneak into the warp hole.
Yeah.
And I will sneak into your hole, Morgan, later.
Shay's going to be attached to my hole when I'm sneaking into the warp hole. We both get it.
What the fuck is going on? I feel like we're playing Fortnite now. When we created the human centipede.
We're centipeding into the warp hole.
I forgot about that. Human centipede formation. I forgot about that.
That was great.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Favorite.
Derailed
so,
us.
No, don't ever be sorry.
I think we agreed on the haircut. Best haircut going to Mimur. Even though I was siding
to
with
continue
Fish,
the joke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best hairstyle is not something we have, unfortunately, Fish. So we can't give that to our hair bun cult leader. But I think Mimur is something that people will appreciate.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
it's
find
the
a clip
People's
of actually
Award.
ripping him out of there. Yes. Best music is going to be an interesting one. So we listened to a lot of music, and that was a lot of fun. We got to acknowledge a lot that meant to us, a lot of songs that meant a lot to us. The two that seem to crop up the most, objectively, if you guys disagree, I'd love to hear it.
We're Hades and Hades.
Celeste and Into the Breach were on. Well, and to be fair, Far Cry 5, but I feel like me and Fish are going to be fighting a losing battle on that one.
I was hoping that you were going to forget that one.
No.
I don't know. I was mistaken.
It has a really nice menu.
It has great menu music.
That's where it got me, Josh.
That title
screen theme, yes. That's where it hooked me, and I just looked into it further, and I was just like, wow, this game really does go places with its music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any jokes about it as much as I want to. I'm not going to make any jokes. I'm going to rise above that.
Okay.
I want to make a joke about how it takes you straight to the toilet, makes you vomit, shit your guts out, but I wasn't going to make it.
Of the two, if we're going to throw our hat out in here, as much as I love the Into the Breach music, I feel like Celeste was, because we're in the compromise zone. For me, I'm going to throw my hat in there for Celeste just because I feel like that's what I'll take away the most from the game as far as like the emotional impact the music had. I've been trying to get an interview with Lena Raine. Obviously, she's probably not interested, but she's someone that I've been very fascinated and at least wanting to talk to, and it's something that I've been, I promote the music. I listen to that music in my car pretty often, and if of the choices we have here from Compromise, I think I'd be the most comfortable with the music from Celeste. So that's my takeaway.
Honestly,
I agree. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a ton of good stuff this year. A ton. Like I didn't even mention everything that was in contention for music, because there's been just a ton of good music out this year. But yeah, I do. Celeste is just, for me, it's definitely the one that I've been just constantly listening to since that game came out. Just in game and out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. If you guys had fought a little bit for Far Cry 5, I probably would have sided with you guys. But if you're going to concede to Celeste, I'll let Celeste be it. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to fight for Into the Breach. So, put up your dukes.
Dukes
just
are
getting my
put
rusting
up.
Hulk here, and I'm just going to get in my glimmering Hulk, and I'm going to give you a showdown.
I think Celeste has stronger music than Into the Breach. To be fair, I am the one who did admit I did not listen to much of the Into the Breach music. I was listening to a soundtrack. So keep that in mind.
Well, I mean, I think it's a big part of it. If you're a member of the crew,
opinion is shit.
They fucking suck.
It's funny because I remember actually asking Shay about that when it came out because I was listening to the music a lot. I was like, dude, you gotta hear this music. And he was like, oh, I haven't heard it. I was like, oh, shit on a log.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yep, I'm a piece of poop.
I would love for Shay to go back and just play that game with the music on, and he's gonna come back and be like, no, I loved it so much. What was I doing? Fuck, so much better than Jack Johnson.
Done and fucked up.
What were you listening to? Jack Johnson?
Nick Johnston. I was listening to good old Nick Johnston.
Well, I would be curious for you to listen to it and tell us what you think of it sometime.
I sure will, partner.
It is good, but I feel like the Celeste music is just more varied and more emotionally resonating.
I do agree with you there.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff. Well, I mean, they both definitely have a theme kind of running through it as far as just a similar feeling. But Celeste also, like we were mentioning before, has those remixes that were a part of the game music itself. It's just kind of a different way to interact with, I don't know, like it just.
Anytime a game's going to use music in more, like, as much as I love the Far Cry music, actually, no, they do use it in interesting ways with, like, the cult music and the radio stations and stuff, but generally speaking, I'm looking for music that's not just good music, it's actually used in an interesting way, and Celeste does that, I think. All the games a lot of games we mentioned did that. Monster Hunter World, for example, I actually think the music is surprisingly fucking great, but it's not really using it in an interesting way. It's just traditionally great.
Yeah, in kind of like a JRPG type of way, almost.
Yeah. Which is epic.
Listen
and you
here,
can still
partner.
love it, so.
Listen here. I agree that Celeste has really good music. The thing is, and look, there's been. We even got. I don't fucking understand what's going on in the world. I just want peace and quiet. I want my normal life. And here's the thing. I just want to go out and go to bed.
Celeste it is. We have a winner. It looks like. We're leaving all that in.
I was prepared for some editing, but I don't know if I was that prepared.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be one for the ages, that's for sure. Okay. It sounds like we're all fairly comfortable with that, except for Fish, but unfortunately, we have a majority here, so I'm sorry. But
it's
I think
okay.
We would acknowledge that
sorry, Fish.
Music is great.
Sorry, Fishless Breachimus.
Hey, if it's any consolation to Ben Prounty, who did the music for Into the Breach, he also had some music on Celeste, so in some ways, he still wins.
Okay. As long as somebody wins here.
The real loser is everyone who stayed here for 4 hours listening to this. Just kidding. You're the real winner. All right, so best moment was one that we got hung up on a little bit because we were all over the place. No, we settled on. No, we actually did. That was where things started going
we
downhill.
settled on that final
mountain.
climb.
Yeah. Okay. It's gonna sound like we're banging the same drum, metaphor intended, but the multiplayer memory that three of us mentioned was also a Sea of Thieves memory where Fish crashed the ship.
Mm-hmm. The maneuver.
The maneuver, yeah. There was some good ones, but there was this one time where me and Josh and our friend Ryan were getting heckled by this guy for like an hour, and we were going back to shore, and he was trying to cut us off, and it was pretty cool. Like I remember, like Josh like dropped the anchor in a way that our ship like turned sideways, and we were just like staring right at him with our cannons, and we just unloaded on him. It was like an hour of it was like an hour of frustration and just fucking getting it all out of your system. We just obliterated his ship into little pieces, and it was pretty exciting. There's a lot of good, but yeah, I think the fish one. I mean, I think Shay's memory holds water because it involved all four of us, but I just feel like the Sea of Thieves thing is unique. Although I hate to leave Shay out.
Fuck you guys. Fuck you. I'm digging deep. I'm digging deep on this one.
Yeah, that was the only one with all four of us.
Only one. Exactly. I'm digging deep.
Yeah, we did win our first game, which I still think is absolutely ridiculous.
We did.
That was just strange. I couldn't believe that we fucking won our first game, first place. And I think we put a lot of effort into that first place too. As a group, you know? We came together.
Yeah, it took all four of us to figure out what the hell the controls were working through there. Like, they're not that complicated, but none of us had any clue what the hell we were doing.
No.
So by the time we were done, I think like we'd finally figured out how to make stairs and nothing else. So we built a lot of stairs.
Yep. We did. We built too many stairs.
Yeah. I remember my whole goal was just to try and keep people alive because I don't like the shooting in that game. So I would just try to keep I'd stay in the back of the pack, and then if someone died, we would try and bring them back. I figured as long as somebody was alive, we hadn't failed. So
exactly.
But I knew no one could shoot. So I think we all did a pretty good. I mean, that is a true 4-person memory that was pretty great.
Yeah. I could, even though 3 of us had the same other one, I could give that one to Fortnite. Just so it's all of us.
All right. Well, we'll see if Thieves has won enough. So I guess it's
I think it's kind of
right.
You know, only the biggest game on the planet. They make $10 quadrillion, and you know everyone plays it. But let's throw them an award. Why not?
Let the listeners know. Let the listeners see that I just fought against 3 titans, 3 gargantuan beasts, colossi.
The 3 looked down and said,
Yeah. I said, give that dog a bone.
Sure. Go on.
He's had a rough day.
You climbed fish.
It's okay.
You climbed
It's okay.
He has a pube trail going from his thigh all the way up to his crotch.
I thought I climbed Mount Olympus when I only climbed the dirt mound in my backyard. I don't know what that analogy is, but let's move on.
No one does. Okay, so our playing Fortnite for the first time as a group and getting first place will win our favorite multiplayer memory. All right, and we have favorite character. This is well, let's do narrative first. This is gonna be a tricky one. I know I'm not gonna be able to fight my Red Dead battle here, but I'm trying to remember some of the other ones you mentioned. We had so did somebody mention? So I'm sorry, it's been a little while. Was Celeste one that was mentioned?
I don't think it was.
No, it was on my longer list, but not top couple.
I had mentioned Crosscode. Fish had mentioned Into the Breach, even though it didn't have a story.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry, Fish, but that's just that makes me very happy.
Oopsie daisy.
It makes me very happy.
I think the clear winner is Into the Breach. I mean, obviously. How can you compete with the story that goes on in Fish's head? I mean, nobody can compete with that.
I mean, really.
Yeah. You guys haven't even seen it or experienced it. Come on. How can you?
All right. So the favorite narrative of this year is Fish at the Strip Club. Moving on.
But
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's hard. There hasn't been a lot of narratives that seem to connect with all of us, so it's going to be a little trickier, I think.
What about Octopath Traveler?
Sorry, you're cutting out here. I couldn't hear what you were
said, what about Octopath Traveler?
Shay, we only have time for serious nominations here because
I know.
Obviously two of us didn't play it.
Yeah. We started on Friday and it is Wednesday here. So it's
oh shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that time warping business.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thinking of the things that we all played, I guess Celeste has the better chance. I mean, for me, is that just I don't know. I mean, it's tough because we're really kind of digging down here because Fish threw out kind of a strange one, and then
I don't know. Like this one is tough as well because like my choice was
does
one.
Spider-Man
that no
have
else
a strong enough one?
Well, but Fish and you didn't play it, so it's not really representative of our crew.
It's true.
Yeah, it's kind of the same issue. I mean, Celeste I liked, but I took it off my list because like the narrative itself, the actual actions going on in the story are not like super strong on their own. Like a lot of the themes going on and the inner workings of it are really cool and what they're exploring.
Yeah.
But like the story itself is about a girl climbing a mountain. Like there's a lot more to it than that, but like yeah.
For a narrative, that's
for a narrative.
that's
I kind of like, as much as I love it, but that was also on my list as far as something that could have been there. Crosscode was on there, like you mentioned. That one was your answer. That's really good. My Memory of Us was also on there for me, but I think again, both of those are just games that we played.
Right, and Morgan did play My Memory of Us too, but I don't think he was as high on it as we were.
That's what I was getting at. But yeah,
I could see I could see God of War winning. To be honest with you, the hard part is I know Josh, you liked. I think you liked the story the least out of the four of us. Unfortunately,
well, I liked it. It was just, it wasn't a whole story. It was the same problem that I had with Moss. Like, I really liked where it was going, and then it went nowhere because both those games were just a first act. Like they had enough individual little moving parts in there that they tricked themselves into thinking they told a whole story, but it was really just a first act. Like it wasn't setting up for a sequel as much as it was setting up for the rest of the story. In both those games.
Well, I mean, I really liked most of it, like the overarching story and the cutscenes for the most part, other than the weird Freya turn at the end. It was just the dialogue between Kratos and his son, which was like 90% of it. Didn't personally connect with me as much, and I think that was like the bulk of the game. But the overarching storyline, like I did like. But yeah, so I mean that's not a horrible answer because it's something we all played. But I feel like that's tough. I feel like we're kind of settling on this category a little bit.
I think there's going to be an amount of settling because we all didn't get to play the same games.
It was so few games that we all played, and the ones that we did all play, none of us feel super strongly about. Like you were mentioning, like God of War, we all played. All thought it was all right, but like it was not on anyone's top of the list. So
I think just in general, Celeste overall affected me more than God of War. So if I had to pick one of the two, I mean, I feel like this show so far has just been the Celeste and Sea of Thieves show. But
I would honestly, I would love to argue Red Dead Redemption with you, Morgan, on this, but I don't think we're gonna win that one. Unfortunately, I would love to argue that with you if I thought we had a chance to win.
No, I'd accept Red Dead Redemption, just not Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Because I love the story in Red Dead Redemption.
Well, I have great news for you, Josh. There's an epilogue in Red Dead Redemption 2 that might be right up your alley. So, of the things that we're kind of settled on, it looks like we have Celeste, we have God of War, we have... Okay, Fish, of the two, Celeste or God of War, from a narrative perspective, immediately go. What do you feel stronger about? Boom.
That is the slowest boom.
And then a moan. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what have I started?
I'm sorry.
Far Cry 5? No, we're not going to win that fight.
Look, I mean, like, for all intents and purposes, you can do that as long as you want, Fish, but you're the one who said you have to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
God damn, man. We got people waiting. I mean, I'm just trying to be diplomatic here. I feel like it's either Celeste or God of War because we're just too all over the place.
Yeah, that does kind of...
I'd side with Celeste.
Okay. I think that kind of does it.
Let's go with Celeste there.
Because that's two of them, and three of them, since I'm... Yeah. I really enjoyed God of War story, but just not...
I was going to say God of War, but... All right.
Celeste takes another one home.
Let it be known, everyone. I want a God of War, but whatever.
Now Shay's playing to the crowd. I see how that is. That's what I should have done. Let it be known, everybody. I wanted Red Dead Redemption 2.
Let it be known to everybody else that Moria held a gun to my head to answer a question.
Well, otherwise we're never going to get an answer. Let it be known that Fish had an imaginary story made up in his head that he chose over some of the most finely crafted experiences in the modern history of video games.
I can't agree with that statement, Morgan. No.
What's the next category?
Yeah, seriously.
Character you would like to have a drink in the bar with?
Yes. That was one that we... That was one that we had.
And that's going to be Clementine from Walking Dead. We agree she had the worst year in gaming this year.
Yeah.
I don't really know what you have to say that's that interesting, though. I mean, compared to like a cult leader with a great man bun, you know,
she probably would just kind of sit in the corner watching the door.
Yeah.
What
do you think, Fish?
Yeah, but I don't know how a cult leader stacks up to a time traveler, though.
Fish, there are no characters in Into the Breach. You realize that, right?
There's pilots with flavored dialogue during the start of mission.
How many winners did you pick from Into the Breach?
I love banana dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
How many winners did you pick from Into the Breach? The only thing you played this year?
Yes, I put 70 hours into that game.
Good God Almighty!
I got all the medals as well. Like that's a phenomenal game. I love that fucking game.
So, of all the characters that you played this year, you want to sit at a bar with 4 lines of text from a blurry Japanese face?
Yes. When he's in critical damage, his eyes glow red.
Oh my!
How cool is that?
What is he, a robot or something? I don't understand. Why are his eyes glowing red?
I don't know. That's a mystery of it. You fill in the blank.
Oh my God, this doesn't fucking matter.
It does kind of matter because that's his. Well, okay, Fish. What's your second or third choice? How about that? Like, what's your top 3 if you had to? I know it's hard for you to separate yourself from this.
I kind of like Josh's actually of drinking with Brock and Sindri. That would be nice to just sit at a bar while those two get drunk together. I would definitely like to see that. So.
All right. Well, just for the sake of getting there, I'm going to just agree with you.
Fuck it.
All right.
Okay.
Shay? Brock and Sindri? That's how it's been. That's what we've gotten to at this point. The whole year just ends with a hand wave. Whatever. Totally pull a Squall Leonhard on us over there. Whatever. It's okay, Shay. My life was fucked at the very beginning of this whole thing. We have favorite.
We could go out and buy a 6-pack. I mean, it's probably cheaper anyway.
I really could.
Yeah.
Cut my life into pieces.
So, favorite character?
Fuck, that one's gonna be rough.
It doesn't have to be. We only all pick
main character crosscode.
Well, it can't work because there's just only 2 of you played it, so it's just gonna be hard.
Remember how we picked the main character from Hellblade last year? And all 4 of us didn't play it?
How could we forget? I think if to be fair, if Far Cry's gonna get shat on in a couple of categories, I don't think I can quite lean toward Crosscode objectively. Fish, you picked him as your character. You picked Kratos as your character of the year, right?
Of course, yeah.
I feel like Kratos would be the least interesting character from that entire game, though. That's the interesting thing. I would take the lady who lived in the turtle, the talking head. I would take.
Yeah.
They're all
bald.
Great, except that none of them are new. Like they're
all
stories that you just haven't heard yet. So it's the whole reason why I didn't really, really get invested in Hades. Kind of the same sort of thing. Like, okay, I know exactly what's going on here. And granted, God of War took a ton of liberties with a lot of the stories going on there, but they were all still basically the same characters.
Well, I still think it's a tragedy that Arthur Morgan will not be making this list, but interest you guys in a little Dutch or maybe a little Sadie?
I could go for Arthur Morgan. I could do it. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I could do it.
On that train.
I just still think he's kind of an empty player character. I know he gets more stuff added to him as you go through.
He really
does. It feels like, yeah, I don't know. It just.
I will say this.
I feel like
we've
a lot of kind of taken different approaches to him. So.
I think the side characters in the game, some of them are more interesting than Arthur Morgan, but I still think Arthur Morgan has his potential to be a very interesting character, and at times he is a very interesting character. But I think what makes him more I don't want to get into this. I could see Arthur Morgan being one. I could see not Kratos, unfortunately. I think that Mimir was a more interesting character. Just in his dynamic with those two. Honestly, a lot of the Crosscode characters I could see.
Yeah.
I could see...
Yeah, those are actually the ones that I feel strongest about, but again,
me too.
It's just
we
not...
can't. Yeah.
It would just be the two of us, but I really think those are some of the strongest ones this year.
I agree. I could see the Madeline's evil side. I could see that as being a character. Trying to think of what else. I don't know. I think it's going to be nitpicking at this. Actually, what if we pick Spider-Man?
Well, because you didn't play it.
It doesn't matter. I mean, like, I know who Spider-Man is, and it's, to me, like, it would just be like symbolic of Spider-Man finally getting a very good video game. Finally.
Doc Ock was the more interesting character, I think, in that game anyway.
Yeah, this was a good take on basically everybody. Like, one of the better Doc Ocks, probably the best Mary Jane without her, being in a starring role in like any of them. A really good, really good take.
I think you guys should pick a Spider-Man character and give him some love. I'm okay with that.
I get what you're saying, and I think it's noble, but I feel like we haven't made that exception for a lot of the other categories that have only had two of us play games. I feel like it'd be kind of odd to just make an exception now. Although I think what you're saying is noble and a good piece. But is it representative of our entire group?
Well, I don't know if it's representative, but representative.
Thank you for saving me the trouble.
No worries. What if we... If it's between Arthur Morgan and Kratos, I'm gonna go with Kratos.
I mean, that's my vote as well, and we already saw it was Fish's vote, but...
Wait, Kratos was your vote, Josh?
Well, if it's like Shay framed it as opposed to Arthur Morgan, yes. As opposed to something else, not as much, but...
It's too bad. I think you guys are going to finish Red Dead and you're going to feel very differently.
And that's the nature of these awards.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm going to get after the first 70 hours that I haven't already gotten. So,
well, Kratos is just. I mean, I feel like I'd agree with it just to end the show, but I mean, Kratos is just. I think he's a great version. It's great. It's cool to see what he became because he used to be an archetypal character. But I mean, I feel like we're whatever. We're settling at this point.
We are indeed.
All right. There'll be Fish and Kratos celebrating in the bathroom, and he'll be snorting cocaine out of his 12-pack.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was off his penis, actually. Which is it?
Off his boner.
Yeah. No, that was last year. This year you've
the timing.
Somebody thinks it's funny.
The baby laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kratos begrudgingly is the choice for the.
Of course, Kratos would be begrudging about the whole situation.
Boy. All right. So we have. I had to get one boy in there. Best. We settled on.
That's what she said.
That's terrifying.
We settled on Sea of Thieves for best game. Well, no, we were tied between the. It sounded like Sea of Thieves had more. Into the Breach. So it came down to the reset mechanic and Into the Breach, or the Sea of Thieves gameplay, which I think we all agreed was more unique. And it seemed like we were drifting that way, but Shay was really digging in deep for Into the Breach.
You guys want to go for Sea of Thieves over Into the Breach?
Well, the problem I think with Into the Breach is it has 3 cool mechanics instead of like one. Like it has the thing I mentioned. Like you can knock things onto like bugs coming out of the ground. It has the reset mechanic. You can go back in time, which honestly didn't help me that much because my pilots would always die. So that only helps you with the pilots.
Fucking Sea of Thieves. Let's fucking do it. Let's get this fucking shit over with. Fuck you guys.
I'm just saying you're limiting the. It wasn't just me. I'm saying.
Kidding. I don't care. I don't care. Both of them are okay with me. As long as we acknowledge that they're both in the top 2 and we both feel passionately about them, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Although the axe in God of War was pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. Feel. Best. It looks like we're on the last one. Looks like we have best feel. God. Praise Tamriel. Okay. Am I missing one?
Best feel?
We already did.
Because I have
goes to the inside of Fish's asshole. It goes to
Feel was the first one we did.
Oh yeah,
what
it was.
What did we settle on?
Sea of Thieves.
Did I forget? Oh, that's
with
right.
With the sailing, which is I think why we were leaning towards Into the Breach for the mechanic.
We were, and we should go back and choose Into the Breach.
We shouldn't lead. You shouldn't lean toward a game just because you want to give it a pity award. I mean, you're basically just. I mean, you can. I'm just saying it seems kind of strange that you feel strongly about a choice, but you're going the other way because the other one's won a lot. I mean, whatever. Do you guys honestly believe that?
Whatever.
Would you guys actually
fucking do it? Fucking Sea of Thieves. Let's just fucking do it and go home.
See, this is what happens when you poop on Red Dead, Fish. All you're left with is Sea of Thieves and Celeste winning every goddamn war. So I hope you're happy.
I am. Wait.
Yeah.
I feel empty.
Red Dead could have won this one with the whole, testicle shrinkage.
Joke's on you, Morgan. I'm never happy.
All right, so we are going to wrap up the show now because my wife is going to want to kill me, and we'll have another one. But a quick wrap up of this marathon of pain, true pain, and some magic for sure, and hilarity. We have favorite ecosystem, Red Dead Redemption 2. Favorite art direction, Sea of Thieves. Favorite narrative. Already forgot. Oh, Celeste. Sorry, Celeste. Favorite character, Kratos.
Bullshit.
Favorite character. I agree. I think it's bullshit too. It should have been Arthur Morgan. Favorite character.
Bullshit.
Yeah, totally should have been Arthur Morgan. If Arthur Morgan gets best character, then I think best narrative goes to the story Fish made up for Into the Breach in his head, because they seem to be basically on par.
If that's exactly if that's what it takes. Again, those are Josh's document opinions and not my own. Favorite boss would be the Megalodon from Sea of Thieves, the Megalodon event. Music went again to Celeste. Haircut went to Mimir from God of War. Moments went to Celeste as well. Climbing the mountain. Multiplayer memory went to Fortnite.
Yes.
Just because Sea of Thieves kept winning everything. But unfortunately, it came back strong for gameplay mechanic and best feel, both going to Sea of Thieves once again. The game that everyone hates that won almost every single award that we have. So there you have it. The first day is in the books. We almost didn't make it, but we did.
God damn.
Congratulations.
You've won.
It's been fun. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's get to sleep because we got more podcasts to do tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging in. Hope you enjoyed the madness as much as we did. Don't forget to listen to the next day as we count down our top 5 games of the year.